I grew up in Diepsloot Extension 2.
Diepsloot is an area where there's a lot of poverty. Violence against women is very high, and we see high rates of crime.
I come from a small town in the Eastern Cape called Uitenhage. I was one of 3 children. My father was working at the South African Railways. He was a millwright.
2 of my kids, they're from the same father. Very emotional, abusive, because he was hurting me too much. And not only me, even my kids. Physically, he was not there. Emotionally, he was not there. It was like he's neglecting his own kids. As the same as my father, he neglected me.
I had a troubled childhood in the sense that my father was brought up to believe that he could walk on water because he was male. He felt quite entitled to behave as if everybody was there to serve him. And he was a verbally, emotionally, psychologically abusive person to my mother and to us. My mother passed away in a car accident when I was 14. And once my mother had passed away, my father more or less abandoned us. In fits of jealousy, he would go through the house with a gun and threaten to shoot us all.
The absence of fathers has affected a lot of people. You find that a man is abusing a woman because he hasn't had a role of a father figure. Women don't see a role model of how a man should be treating a woman.
I was 18 when I left home. I came to Johannesburg. I borrowed money from a relative and I did my degree in communication. And I had to fetch my little brother because he was then finishing school and he was still being abused by my father. And then I met the first man I married, who was abusive, violent, aggressive, bodybuilder. So I found myself in an abusive first marriage because obviously I was easily victimized.
I was raised by my mother's sister. Maybe I think I was around 10 by the time they told me about my father. But I never grew up in front of my father. I also needed him to tell me something and say, maybe, yes, you are my daughter. It's hectic because even now it's something that is always eating me up.
I think it was the issue of self-esteem. It's generally known that girls who do not have an affectionate, close relationship with their fathers have a low self-esteem. And they are far more prone to accept abuse in a relationship because of the poor relationship with their fathers. And they think that they deserve that kind of abuse.
The father wound is a great and a huge anger in most men that I've come across.
You repeat patterns that you learn in childhood, and in the absence of a strong relationship with your father, you don't have that kind of confidence.
Men can change with the help of other men and help from other women. If fathers were present and they were showing their daughters being caring fathers, taking care of their family, loving their children and loving their wives, then women would know that if I'm treated badly, I'm able to leave.